Good morning, friends. Today I will be taking you through some of the sales mistakes that can happen to you while you sell your product. I will be listing down a few mistakes throughout my presentation, and I also admit that I too have committed such mistakes. So before I start with the presentation, I would like to introduce or to start with a video.
Here I come. So, Maria, I think we've established your needs, and it's clear that my solution is the best. Do you have any other questions before I write down your order?
Well, Peter, you know, it's,
Yes, Maria?
Well, Peter, the fact is, I'm not buying.
Maria, you can't do that to me. You need this very badly. I need your order very badly. I put so much work into this project.
Sorry, Peter. Thanks, but no thanks. I don't think we really need this, you know. It's all nice and everything, but no.
Oh my God! Maria, you were so interested. You showed all those buying signals. Oh my God! I need help. Boss! Boss! Help! Boss! Help!
It can happen to any salesman, and it is estimated that for 10 deal or 10 sales process that you go, you can convert to it on an average around 2 to 3 in the expected manner that you want to be. So this is actually towards the end of closing a deal, and you can see that how far the salesman was not able to communicate and also to convince and hence get the sales order to his company. Sales process, this is a sales process model or a cycle, you can say. It starts off with establishing a rapport or a relationship with your client or your potential client, and in some cases it can take some time because it depends on, you must understand his requirement. That happens to the second bubble where the need recognition process happens. Here you will be throughout the process of making rapport with the client. You will be able to understand what he expects from you or what are his expectations out of your company or your product or service. So the need recognition, once analyzed or identified, you can formulate the solutions, and the solutions can be drafted or customized according to the client's need. And hence, if you are meeting this requirement, you can definitely close the deal, and the process does not end by closing the deal, but you have to deliver in the right manner he wants to, and also you have to evaluate or to evaluate how the implementation or the delivery process is carried out. And all through this process, you definitely need to have a constant follow-up of what is happening. So, taking the angle of a salesperson, of course the decision is very crucial. If I have become a salesperson, it can be out of two chances. First of all, I am looking for a job and there is nothing else but a sales job, which you very well know that it is, which is more of offering. So, if you are looking for a sales job, then well and good. But if you are not a sales guy, or if you are looking for some other job, then don't be into sales. So, to start off with the mistakes that can commonly happen to you. First of all, we start with allowing a prospect to lead the sales process. You very well know that in the initial meeting or the initial beginning of your meeting and the communication happening throughout the process. So you can identify that sometimes the prospect can overtake you. Say, you come down and sit in a meeting and he starts off with his business and he continuously says, and you will be struck or you will be just hearing to it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't listen, but definitely you should lead the process. Otherwise what happens is that by the time he completes all his details and all his things, you will not have time to communicate or to express to him what all you can offer to him. So definitely throughout the process you should ask questions, you should take the lead, and it is also always the best way to learn. Sorry. Okay. Second one is that not completing the pre-meeting research. Of course, be prepared while you go. Even the first meeting is very crucial for your business. So be prepared, do all your homework, and then go and meet the client. And throughout the meeting, you can ask relevant questions. Because what happens in the first case is that you will not be aware of what is happening in this business or what is requirement. Because if you have not done your pre-meeting research. So what happens is that you will be sitting there and he will be talking and you will be eliciting information from him. Say, there are some information or data which has to come out from the client's mouth. But otherwise, you could have get all your details, the basic stuff that he's dealing with his business, so that you will not waste time again hearing it from his mouth. So if you're not prepared, what happens is that you sit there, listen, and finally the meeting gets over and you will not be able to sell properly. Of course, talking too much, you should talk, but there should be a limit. And this limit depends on the situation as well as the product and the service you are selling to this client. So sometimes there can be situations where the product will not speak more. So you have to take that responsibility and speak, because if it is a tangible product, well and good, the client can see what the product is and he definitely know what the actual thing is. But if it is something intangible, then how will you communicate? But you have to communicate, but not to that extent that the client feels bored or he feels irritated, because those are some things which definitely you have to avoid. And there should be a line of distinction, and it comes on with experience. Then giving the prospect information that is irrelevant. So what happens, sometimes we go there and I meet a client, and definitely I will speak of my product and I understand his needs, and then speak of my product and what I can do or what I can offer to him. But sometimes there comes a situation where sometimes I not be knowing where to stop. So what happens is that I will be talking more and more, and some irrelevant things comes up in my conversation, which sometimes can be crucial or sometimes can backfire, because those are the things which the client might pick up, and he'll be starting questioning us on that regard. Maybe that will be some aspect which will not be beneficial or will not have any relation to our business. Then, first of all, I said going there not feeling very prepared, because if you're going for a meeting, just identify what is the objective of the meeting, and just have an initial study of what is the client or why is he calling us. So before going there, of course, you need to have a checklist. You should have such and such things. You have to meet such and such things, and you have to carry such and such things, including your business cards or brochures or something else. And of course, you should have all your information at your fingertips, be it in the case of pricing, be it in the case of samples, etc. So you should be ready. You should not say that I'll get back to you, but sometimes you may have to say that. But most of the basic things should be met in order to have the meeting. Then not expressing the enthusiasm about the prospect and their project. See, this is very crucial, because if I am a client and someone comes to me and speaks about this product, see, he's coming to me because one thing, sometimes I'll be calling him and he's coming to my office and he'll be talking more and more. So sometimes it happens that someone might not show that much interest that I have in my product or the project that I am proposing. And it can also happen the other way also. So you should be clear, and you should be, because that happens while you talk with the client. That rapport, once the rapport is built, you will be able to identify what is the degree or what is the level of expectations that the client has from you. So if that is set, definitely this problem can be well avoided. This is something which happens too frequently. Neglecting to ask for the same. I go there, I meet my client, I talk to him, I hear his requirement. That happens continuously for some time, and finally what happens is that I might not ask for a deal. say I expect him to ask for that, but he doesn't do that. Then what happens? The deal is not closed. So this can happen to you if you are not very careful of putting in your proposal or putting in your final closure of the deal. Because this is very crucial, because we have to take that initiative. The salesman has to take that initiative, and very most importantly, you should have the timing of putting in this or putting in this element into your closing of the deal. Failing to prospect. This is what happens usually with the businesses that are doing very well. Because once your business have picked up and your projects are coming in, and you see that there is no relevance or there is no importance to prospect for more. Because you know that you have sufficient projects in hand and it is happening well and good. So why should I prospect? So if you are doing that, there can be some situations where the business can go wrong, and you may lose or you might stuck up with some projects. Then you will be sourcing for more projects. So at that time, you should have a backup of, say, this number of projects so that you can capitalize on that at the time of adversity. Then judging the book by its cover. This is what happens by a salesman. See, if he is going for a meeting, he look at the office car space park, and you can see his big car parked in front of his office. So he says, "Oh, the boss is stretched, so I can offer more." Sometimes that might not be the boss car. You shouldn't assume things. And also, if you get into your office, you can see the ambience of the office, the environment of the office. You should be able to get some information out of that, but don't assume or pre-assume things. Once the meeting is over, then definitely you'll have a better understanding of how much the client can invest upon. Then not walking away from the wrong client. Sometimes I go there and I meet a client, and it happens that while talking I understand that he's not the guy that I want, or he's not be able to buy my product. Sometimes the prices might not match, and if I invest, then definitely I will suffer loss. Then you should have that guts, or we should have that guts to walk away from it. So it is said that guts of walking away from a wrong client is much higher than getting into a deal. So that is more important for the business to prosper. Then definitely not listening, as I said. While the client is talking to you, you should definitely listen. It is the 20-80 ratio, because it is said that 20% the client should talk to you in a meeting, and 80% you should talk to the client. But one thing you should understand, that the talking should not be exceeded a particular limit, whereby he will feel that, okay, this guy is talking too much and I don't think he's going to deliver. It should be persuasive. It should be assertive. In fact, it should be assertive, and you should restrict on with the time of the meeting, and the client should not have a botheration on that. So selling up instead of selling down. This sometimes can happen in certain deals where you fix up a project and the client coming up with more and more fancy ideas. So well and good, you need inputs from your clients. But if it's coming and if it's putting on more and more ideas which are not, which cannot be turned into realities, so there's no point in committing to that. So better you do it the project, and if is asking more, then definitely you can return back to him, come back to him and say that these are all the limitations, these are all my constraints. I can do that, I can make this into reality if such things happen, and you have to pay such an amount more. But don't oversell or don't sell very up or very highly imaginative, because ultimately you are the one to deliver and you should be able to deliver. Not having all the decision makers in one go. Sometimes it can happen where you not be able to have all the people with your team together to go for a meeting due to resources constraint. But definitely the prerequisite or the pre-meeting research can deal with this aspect a lot. But definitely you should have the enough people or decision makers who can come with you for a meeting. Because once a client is convinced that you are going to take up this project, you need to commit it. So that commitment can happen only from people who will be able to decide and who will be able to do that purpose. So you should have, say, even if it is a one person, he will be able to, or he should be able to commit for that deal. Otherwise, what happens is that you distract. Say, I go there, he says that I'm going to give you an order, so how much will you deliver? So I should be able to say this and this things I will be able to deliver, and by which time I'll be able to finish this project, and what is the cost of the project. So, and that decision is over, and the sale is closed, the deal is closed. So if that happens in that one meeting or two meetings, what happens is that this keeps on happening frequently, and you'll be wasting more and more time discussing the same thing. Then not differentiating yourself, as well as the product differentiation, here also the salesman should differentiate himself. He should say that why I am different from the other guy. He should say that why my company is different from the other company. Because here a serious aspect is the innovation part, where innovation or the creativity in selling definitely helps in differentiating you with the other guy. Then becoming an unpaid researcher for your prospect. While talking to a client, you will be able to understand what the client needs and what's the background of the organization, or what is the reason that he's going for that project. So that can be a helpful session for you to guide your team to build into the project. So you will be able to get up all your details or all your data in order to facilitate the next stage of your process if the deal is closed. Then not using visual aids. It can be anything. Visual aids, it depends on the circumstances in which you are going for a meeting. And at least if you are not able to put up a good presentation, or you don't have enough time to put up a presentation, just have it in your laptop, or you will be able to offer him some brochures, flyers or something else, so that he will have an image or something registered in his mind that, okay, that is the logo of the company, the person came and met me. So otherwise what happens is that if I go there and I talk to him, so he'll be meeting 3 or 4 or say 10 guys in a day with the same purpose or for the same reason, and there are chances that he might not remember. So recall the person who comes next. Of course, we have the business content, how far he will be able to say, oh, this guy was that, he mentioned this point. So that can be avoided by putting in a brochure or something like that, so that he remembers that, oh, this is a company that came to me. Okay, so they have this product, they have this features, they will be offering this much. Okay, I'm fine, I'll do with that. So that aids or that helps in creating or making a deal. Before I go into that, I'll just show you another video. This video will just mention or just highlight the areas in which the salesperson should consider himself, and just have a watch.
My name is Bob, and I'm here to tell you about my great product.
I don't have time to meet with you now.
That's okay, Susan. I just attended a sales training program, and I know how to handle that objection. Would today at 3:15 or 4:15 be a better time to meet?
When are you selling?
Nothing yet, Susan. I just want to tell you about my product and to see if it would be a good product for you. Have you noticed how I have used your name? Our trainer said that it is important to use a person's name when we are talking to them. He said it makes the other person feel important. Do you feel important, Susan?
No, I feel like throwing up.
That's too bad. I understand that this conversation might make you feel sick. That is empathy, and our trainer said using empathy would help me relate to you.
Your trainer is an idiot.
So, do you want to buy my product?
I'm not interested in your product.
The sales trainer prepared me for that objection too. Are you not interested in saving money?
How will your product help me save money?
Well, if I could just have 30 minutes of your time, I can tell you.
I'm very busy right now. Tell me how your product will save me money.
Okay, but before I do that, I need to develop rapport with you. I see a notice on your bulletin board about a company picnic. Do you have those often?
Don't try to be my friend, Bob. Just get to the point.
Okay, our product has an added design that prevents it from overheating with use. It has a radial arm dislocator that gives it an extended and longer life cycle. Plus, there are no moving parts to break it down. That alone can save you hundreds of dollars in maintenance costs. Don't you agree?
No, I don't. It doesn't sound like you know anything about my business. I don't need your product. You're wasting my time, so please leave.
I can't leave yet. The sales trainer taught me that I need to be persistent and that I need to hear at least 7 no's in order to get a yes. So, do you want to buy it?
No. Now get out, or I will call security.
That's funny. Our training taught us how to respond to that too. He told us to ignore comments like that. So, would Thursday or Friday work better for delivery? That's called their choice close. Our trainer said it would force you to decide between one of those days instead of saying no.
He was wrong. I don't want your stupid product. Now get out.
Does that mean you are not interested in saving money?
The only thing I'm interested in doing right now is getting rid of you.
That's okay. Our trainer said that we should not take rejection personally. So what is it about my product that you don't like?
I don't know anything about your freaking product. Stop wasting my time and get the hell out of my office.
My boss told me I would lose my job if I don't sell something today. Do you want that to happen to me? By the way, that is called a guilt close.
I don't care what happens to you. If you don't leave my office right now, I might be guilty of pushing you down the stairs.
But I still have at least 4 more closes to use.
Here's the deal. If you leave now, I will call the cops.
At least let me give you an expensive brochure. I know you won't read it, but at least I can tell my boss that you are interested. Is that okay?
Yes, give me the brochure, but don't even think about calling me.
Thanks, Susan. I will take that as a maybe. Be you.
This is not the way actually the sales process should happen. Basically, this video was introduced to you just to have an idea of what are the elements that the salesperson should have. Basically, don't irritate your client. Okay. So, coming to the essential traits for a salesperson. Hope you have watched this movie.
Yeah,
It's a good movie. So, physical quality, the appearance, what all you have to present. Mental quality, this is very something, you should have something unique mental quality where you should have that perseverance to tackle the client. Then integrity of character, always show that integrity because be honest. Never commit for more than what you can offer. Be honest to yourself as well as to your client because that will pay you off. Then if you are saying that movie that all these things are reflected there. And knowledge of the product and the company, definitely you should have that because if you are unaware of your product or your company, you know what happens. Then good behavior, as I said, you should be able to be assertive, not aggressive. You should be aggressive but be assertive. The ability to persuade. Just talk to your client, just bringing to your desk, just bringing the project to your hand, closer to you. This is not happening. This is how the process happens in the sales, where the timing is not matched and talks go and nothing happens at the end. Thank you, and I would like to have your raise on this topic.